Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Yesterday, the European Parliament debated Donald Trump. The European Council President has already identified President Trump's administration as one of the threats facing the EU, alongside so-called Islamic State, China and Russia. Nigel Farage made the most of his opportunity to speak in the debate and defend his political ally, Mr. Trump. A Labour MEP, Seb Dance, who was sitting behind the former UKIP leader, found another way of getting the message across.
You see, what has happened here is somebody has stood on a manifesto for election, got into office, and within 1 week said that he will hold faith with his own electorate. It is called genuine democracy. Unlike the system we have in the European Union, where the unelected commissioners like Mogherini here have the sole right to propose legislation. So I'm sure that it's a great shock to you to see that a genuinely elected Democrat is doing what he was put in to do. And out of institutional respect, President, to the truth, perhaps you will understand and agree with me that within the European form of lawmaking, it is the unelected Commission that have the sole right to propose legislation. If I'm wrong in saying that, you can throw me out of this Parliament right here, right now, this afternoon.
Seems Nigel Farage blissfully unaware there. And the Labour MEP, Seb Dance, who you saw holding that piece of paper there, and the UKIP MEP, Bill Etheridge, who has made a complaint about Seb's behaviour, join me now from Brussels. Welcome, gentlemen. Seb Dance, first of all, was that really a mature and reasonable way to make your point?
Well, I think you can question whether or not it was sophisticated, certainly, but it was a very effective way of making a point. And it's a time-limited debate, and it's quite frustrating when you know that Nigel Farage will have 3 minutes uninterrupted. And so I'm afraid in my frustration, I did the only thing I thought of and raised a little sign making a poignant point.
Right, making a poignant point, but he is the leader of the grouping that he represents. That's presumably why he had those few minutes to speak. So, I mean, that is legitimate in that sense. You said he was lying. What was he lying about?
Oh, of course. Well, I was making the general point, of course, that he has scapegoated immigrants and said that immigrants are the cause of all the problems that we have, whether it be pressure on public services, pressure on the economy, when nothing could be further from the truth. That leads us down a dangerous path. But actually, in the comments he made, he said a number of things that aren't true. He said that President Obama had enacted extreme vetting when he hadn't. He hadn't even banned people coming from Iraq, as he claimed in his speech. He had introduced restrictions on a particular kind of visa. The Commission isn't the sole arbiter of legislation. They take their priorities from the elected member state government.
Well, let me go to Bill Etheridge, because unfortunately
what he's saying wasn't true.
We've only got a few minutes. You've submitted a formal complaint, Bill Etheridge. You've said that Seb Dance's behaviour was disgusting, pathetic and cowardly. Isn't that going a bit far?
Well, no, I think what actually was going on there is that, the Labour Party for so many years has been winning elections, in control of situations. Now their movement has seen, they've lost a referendum, they've lost a president in the United States, they're about to lose 2 by-elections, and all they've got left is, I'm disappointed in Seb because I know him, he's not normally this kind of guy, this really rather childish and silly behaviour.
Well, if you're feeling triumphant, why have you made a complaint? If you're feeling that triumphant, why have you made a complaint?
Well, for a very simple reason, that if we'd have done that, the rules would have come into play. This is what's got to be done. Sitting there with a little sign is really not on. Is this what the Labour Party's reduced to now? They have no argument left. All they can do is call us names.
Right. Well, gentlemen, I'm sorry we've run out of time. I will leave you to sort out your own dispute there in the European Parliament. Thank you both very much.